Hello, my name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. There are many reasons why lesbians come out later in life. And there is a huge difference between knowing when you knew that you were a lesbian and when you came out that you are a lesbian. I'm going to discuss that today. The title of this video is Lesbians Who Come Out Later in Life. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. And I'm going to discuss 4 reasons why lesbians come out later in life. And this is not an exhaustive list. And even though I may go over chronological order, it doesn't mean that one reason is more important than the other. So, one major reason why lesbians come out later in life, and just to define later in life, I would say if you are the age of 18 years and under, that is early in life. 19 to the age of 26 years old is not considered later in life. It is more so the prime of your life. But if you are 27 years of age and older and you came out as a lesbian, that would be considered uh, later in life. And the reason why I am giving those age ranges is because the the body physically at the age of 25 years and older, the mind actually matures and solidifies and is able to have coordination as well as full, complete thoughts. So that's pretty much a guide. Now, of course, if you have your own opinion about what you consider later in life, that's great too. I mean, we're free to believe what we consider as later in life, but this is just my perspective based on my experiences and speaking with other women as a life coach and understanding their experiences concerning when they came out. All right. So for me, I, I I'm kind of like at that. I'm at that point where I was in my prime and almost in later in life because I had quite a bit different experience. I was a child and everybody knew I was actually a lesbian. So for me, I didn't really get to come out. So that's different for me. I really didn't get to come out. But I'll just say that when I became more confident in myself, it was um, at the age of 26 when I just was completely self aware. I was very confident in who I was, although I didn't have quite a coming out experience. Now, to go on with the reasons why women come out later in life, and as I stated, I would say the ages of 27 and up. And one, it can be because of a woman's age. It could be her generation, the time that she was in the world experiencing life does determine why she came out later in life. For example, the 70s, the 80s, even the 90s, being a gay, lesbian, or LGBTQ person was not popular. Even though people knew there were homosexual people, no one really discussed it. It was very much, I would say, a private matter. And no one had access to much media about gay, lesbian, LGBTQ people, whether it was television, because television was a big thing way before YouTube. And it could be women. I mentioned the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but even before then, there's women who were born in in the 60s, in the 50s. So just a generation I look at like every 10 years, so a decade. If you're within whatever decade that you're in, that's your experience of the times. And all you had was pretty much television and radio. You started to get cable in the 80s, you know, but not everybody had access to cable because many people couldn't afford it. And so the 90s, when they came around, you had more uh, access to what was going on through the news and through cable and through radio and movies and films. So people started to get more social, I would say, in the decade of the 90s. However, it still was not welcomed for you to be an openly lesbian. So people, they were just quiet about their sexuality. And a second reason why lesbians come out later in life is because of their religion, their faith or belief system. Maybe she came from a religious household, a religious upbringing, and their religion taught them that homosexuality was a sin, that it was immoral. So if a woman knows that being a lesbian person is looked at as a sin or immoral, then she more than likely won't come out at a younger age, as a child or a teenager, or even in her early 20s, because you're still trying to learn yourself, you're still trying to get to know yourself, and you're actually hindered a lot of times from really knowing yourself because of the pressure of being around a religious family, a religious environment. Many people go to church, they're very faithful attendees, and their life is pretty much surrounded by religion. And because of that, they don't address or even, they're not even quite aware of all of the feelings that they're having because they may ignore them. So religion is a huge issue with lesbian, gay, and LGBTQ people being themselves, because many people are taught that who they are is a sin and that they need to change and be heterosexual. A third reason why a lesbian woman may come out at a later time is because of conforming to her environment. So, like the social setting, and social setting could be various things. So, what I mean by conforming is, there's actually, if you look at the definition of conforming, it means to be pressured to actually transform. And you're pressured to transform not because of personal will, but it's external forces that are causing you to change. So you become like a duplicate of everyone else. So in this sense, everyone is wanting to be heterosexual, or they're, it's understood that you're supposed to be heterosexual, so you conform to a heterosexual lifestyle. And many women, they they have boyfriends, they have, they get engaged and date and marry men, and they take on a heterosexual lifestyle even though they know that they are lesbian. And it's because of the cookie cutter mindset. We all need to be heterosexual. We have to abide by gender roles. And so, because of her conforming to the pressures of society, whether it's people in her household, people at work, people at church, it could be politics, it could be any type of setting that pressures you to be someone who you are not. And then number 4, which I believe is the root of why lesbians come out later in life, and it's because of their family. Family is our first impression in life. It's who we come from, it's the people who we look up to, it's the people who we expect to protect us and love us and take care of us and give us guidance. But family doesn't always turn out to be the way we desire them to be. And that's because people have, different belief systems. People have different sexual orientations, and the majority of people identify as heterosexual. And when you see your parents and your siblings and your close loved ones all, with the opposite sex, it influences you. It makes you say, well, I want to be accepted by my family, and I'm going to do whatever is necessary to be accepted by my family, even if it means that I have to neglect who I am and what I really want. And that may sound, sad or dramatic, but it is real. Family really influences you, and they teach you how you should be. But as you mature, you become your own person, or you should be. But a lot of people neglect themselves only because they want to have a family, and they don't end up having families of their own. And if they do have families of their own, then it's going to emulate what their parents did, what their grandparents did, what their siblings do, and that's marry someone of the opposite sex. So your family, although they may love you, if they don't really accept you for who you are, then they don't know really how to love you. And you cannot depend on your family to love you the way you need to be loved. You have to love yourself. And I encourage everyone to take time to get to know yourself and to let go of what's going on around you. Yes, including your family. And what I mean by let go of, like, don't allow their belief system to override your belief system. You must believe in yourself. And I truly recommend that you have a spiritual, faithful relationship with God, because God is the source. He is your creator. He knows you and he loves you and accepts you as you are. And when you embrace the love of God, then you will learn to love yourself wholly. And you won't look at your family. You won't look at your friends. You won't look at even people at the church, such as who you admire, whether that's your preacher or your pastor, your minister, anyone that goes to church, that you talk to, your social surroundings, your social interactions with people. You will begin to change how you view who you want to socialize with when you put yourself first. I hope that this message resonates with you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share my content. This helps the messages get out there. And it's so important that lesbians, gay, and LGBTQ people hear these messages. I intend to continue to teach and coach and uplift and enlighten all same sex attracted people, and even allies and supporters who want to learn more about LGBTQ people because they know someone like you, and they just want to be able to be a more loving and knowledgeable person. If that's you, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and like and share my content. You have a wonderful day. Thank you.